Oh, look. You can have it.
Sorry, your peanuts have disappeared. I will download more. Meanwhile, have a banana and some milk.
Come on, try yourself. Yay! Stay tuned for more iPad magic and please subscribe to my channel.
Now, I don't know whether you remember, but there was a time before you knew you existed. For some of you, that was probably last Friday night after a skinful. But as we all grow up, there's a moment in our life, and this is a really beautiful moment if you witness it, where you can see about 1 year old, it might happen a bit sooner or a bit later, but roughly about 1 year old, where a child realizes they exist as a physical entity. It's that moment where they look in the mirror and they kind of go, oh, that's me. And they move their hand and that hand moves and they realize that that's them.
Is that wrong? Oh, you? Is that me?
Oh my God.
Mom.
Back up.
That's me?
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Well,
Over there.
no, that's not true.
That is me. I swear to God, that's me.
So they have a physical awareness, if you will, but they haven't yet developed an awareness of their own emotional self, which is why you get the terrible twos.
What are you mad for? It's hot out here right now. Why are you so mad?
I don't like you.
Why you don't like me? Huh?
You don't love me.
I said when we done, you gonna get McDonald's. Like, you always make it everything so complicated. Let's go. Don't nobody care. Come on, big boy. You look like a snowman. You look like a bear. You look like a Puff. Milk dud.
That's why he keep calling me before I put a flower.
You gonna throw a flower on me?
So when a 2-year-old is hungry, the world is hungry, and why aren't we eating? So there's that kind of intensity, that egocentricity in a 2-year-old, and so that's why they kind of get pest of power. You know, so in the supermarket, it's mum, 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 dad, dad, meat, food, meat, now, meat, food. And they kind of bother you to a great extent. And then there's, again, it's witnessable, this moment where they suddenly realize that not only are they physically separate from you, but their emotions are not your emotions. And you may have witnessed this with a child walking down the aisle in the supermarket, eyes streaming red, bawling in frustration and rage that they can't get what they want, and then looking at you completely baffled. Like, why aren't you crying? We're hungry. We want those chocolates. And there's that sort of bafflement in their eyes, that sort of 1,000-yard stare. And that's the emergence of the awareness of the emotional self separate from the parent or the caregiver. So that's the sort of second level up. But it's not until they get to sort of 3 to 6 years old that they get into something called the conceptual self. And part of that emergence of the conceptual self is a sense of identity. So it's what you would know as consciousness, is they start to become aware, not only that they're physically and emotionally separate, but that they've got an identity. And it sort of blossoms between 3 and 6 years old. And one of the things that happens in the emergence of conceptual self is language. So language is essentially a concept. It's a noise to represent something. So the emergence of conceptual self happens, and we start to label our universe. You know, cat, dog, bat, ball, window, floor, and so on. And so the world starts to make sense, and we start to be able to navigate. And children between the age of 3 and 6 learn about 6 new words every single day. So there's this phenomenal language acquisition that goes on. But it's not until they get to the 4th level, which is called concrete consciousness, that they start to learn the rules that govern the concepts. So that's when it all starts to make sense. Why is a dog and a cat a cat? Why is a mummy and a daddy a daddy? What's the rule? And it's in that between sort of 6 and 9 years old that the fun starts to happen. So if you speak to a 7-year-old, you can start to have fun by playing against the rules. You know, look at that cat going woof woof. No. Cats go meow. They don't go woof woof. Right? And then it makes them laugh, because you're basically playing against the rules. So there's this whole rule emergence that occurs in a child between 6 and 9. And then that's where most people stay. So most of the people you're going to meet in your life, 20, 30, 40, on the inside, 9.
And do you know why I'm never coming back to this planet? Because the 2 of you are the worst. You both hate yourselves and each other. And the idea that it has anything to do with Rick is laughable. I'd laugh, but I'm biologically incapable. That's how alien I am. And even I'm sitting here listening to the 2 of you and being like, what the So, good luck with your shitty marriage, and tell Rick I'm sorry he has to deal with either of you. Blam blam, out!
Well, when I was your age, I was also taken to a university to be studied.
Because they thought you were really smart?
Because they thought I was clinically insane. And it wasn't just me. Did you know that when Albert Einstein was a little boy, his parents worried there was something wrong with him?
Because he couldn't comb his hair?
No, that was a choice he made later in life. When he was young, he wanted nothing to do with other children and would often have extreme temper tantrums.
Sounds like you. I know. Isn't it great?
I have the brain of Einstein with the attention span of a 2-year-old.
Did you get any of that?